correspondent James Rosen is live now in our nation's capital with a closer look at all three. James.
Katrina, good afternoon to you. For most Americans, all they know about Delcy Rodriguez, the new leader in Caracas, is what they heard from President Trump on Saturday morning.
You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice.
Since her swearing in, Rodriguez has pledged to advance a, quote, cooperative agenda with the U.S. while vowing to defend against external threats. A lawyer and diplomat, she served as Maduro's number 2 for the last 7.5 years, which means her daunting task will now be to unravel her own government's sprawling network of cartels and foreign actors hostile to the U.S.
She's as vicious as Maduro and a hell of a lot smarter. Delcy, among other things, has been in charge of Sabine, the internal intelligence service. She has presided over Helicoid, which is the torture center that has tortured thousands of Venezuelans and Americans on her watch, and she's still there.
The two other most prominent women in Venezuelan politics are for now watching the unprecedented drama in their home country unfold from afar. Appearing alongside her husband in U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York yesterday, former First Lady Celia Flores likewise pleaded not guilty to federal drugs and weapons charges, where Maduro gamely reaffirmed his status as president and accused the United States of kidnapping him. Flores gave no speech. Maria Corina Machado, the opposition leader and recipient of last year's Nobel Peace Prize, widely regarded as the true winner over Maduro in last year's elections, was reportedly assessed by U.S. intelligence to be unable to step in and lead Venezuela following Maduro's capture. Speaking from exile, Machado has lavishly praised President Trump and offered to give him her Nobel Peace Prize.
Is the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the leader.
The prominence of these three women is not reflective of the overall status of women in Venezuela, where just over 1/3 of work-age women participate in the labor force, and those that do are generally paid a fraction of what men earn. Katrina?
James, I have to ask you, there have been some cynics, I'll say, critics who say that the only reason that President Trump did not ask Machado to step in is because he was upset that she won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, well, published reporting has dispelled that largely. It has been reported that the U.S. intelligence community made an assessment that Machado, having fled into exile, would not have what it takes to be able to step back into the country and assemble some kind of governing coalition in such a short time frame. So the Trump administration made the decision to go with Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro's number 2. And as President Trump told us all on Saturday morning, if Delcy Rodriguez does not cooperate with the U.S. plans for Venezuela and for refurbishing the oil infrastructure and so on, then they do have a second wave of potential military attack that the United States can bring to bear in this situation. But as the president said, they believe at this point that won't be necessary.
James, your just reaction specifically to Rodriguez, someone who truly was brought up as a Marxist. Her father actually kidnapped an American businessman in the 70s. He was a very dangerous man, and reports say that she grew up idolizing her father for his Marxist regime and beliefs. Do you think that would make it possible for her to work or cooperate with the United States?
Even if Delcy Rodriguez, Katrina, were totally 100% committed to implementing President Trump's vision for Venezuela, it would still be very difficult for her to do so. You have a lot of other Maduro loyalists still in place, not only in the government, in the parliament, but throughout the oil industry and throughout just about every sector of Venezuelan society. From that seedbed, we have the makings of an insurgency. And it doesn't take a great imagination, especially as we look back at recent history, to see all the many different kinds of scenarios that could play out here that could complicate President Trump's vision, from sabotage at an oil installation to, God forbid, but very plausibly, The assassination of an American or one of the members of the vague group that we were told on Saturday is going to go down there and
Right.
work with Rodriguez. And at that point, when one of those things happens, this will be President Trump's issue to contend with. As Colin Powell famously said at the dawn of the invasion of Iraq, if you break it, you've bought it.
All right. James Rosen, appreciate the report. Thank you.